author. And today we're going to Texas with Rick Ornelas, 12 Hours of Heaven, Lessons for a Better World. Hi, Rick, how are you?
I'm doing phenomenal, Dave. Thanks for having me
Well, it's great
on your show.
to
Appreciate it.
have you today sharing your story and perhaps sparking some opportunities for people around the world. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why did you write the book?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Southern California. I've lived outside of Houston, Texas since 2009 with my family. And it's interesting that I mentioned California because that's where the inspiration for the book originally came. So about 20 years ago, I was driving down the freeway and it started to rain in Southern California, where it's never supposed to rain, but it started to rain in Southern California really, really hard. And the road got very slick. And as I'm driving down the freeway with my family, my wife and my 1-year-old and 4-year-old at the time, my daughters, I lost control of the vehicle, spun around 4 lanes to the left, almost hit the center divider, spun back across 4 lanes to the right, went up a dirt embankment, hit a brick wall, flipped over, and landed back on the wheels. And yeah, wow was right. I mean, I still feel it when I tell it. But
I feel it from you too, my friend.
yeah, well, it was crazy at the time, and witnesses, they said it was the most incredible thing they had witnessed, especially that I didn't hit any of the other cars when I went one way and then back the other, and the car was completely totaled, and we were completely unharmed. And at the time, I thank God and didn't really understand what had happened, why we weren't harmed. And my mother, who's very devout, said, you know, you had an angel that was your guardian angel was protecting you. And that really sat with me, and I tried to reflect on it. And I had this idea for a story that just hit me like a, you know, like a car hit me, that was about an angel that would come down from heaven and help people. And I saw it in my head so vivid and clear, like a movie. And I didn't do anything with the idea at the time. I wrote about a page, and then I never did anything. And then you fast forward to last year when I'm in quarantine with everyone else, and I'm a little desperate and getting hopeless as I had lost some work. And I said, you know, I'm going to take this time as an opportunity, and I'm going to start writing. And that's when I wrote the book.
Wow. Do you have a word for that, or do you have an explanation? And I realize that perhaps the words don't fully express it. I've got my word already. I want to share it. Yet I'm going to ask you, are there some words that describe that for you?
Yeah, I would say for me, it was really a big spiritual awakening for myself, Dave, because as I started writing at the beginning of April, and I just started going through the task of writing. So I said, okay, I'm going to write 500 or 750 words a day. And I started going through that. And all of a sudden I get a couple months in, and I just started like this divine inspiration. And the words started flowing to where I was typing 2,000 words in a couple hours. And it was just this awe-inspiring experience that like you said, words can't really describe it, because it was so deeply personal and spiritual that I felt so connected, you know, with a higher power, and it was pretty amazing.
For some of our friends who might be watching this, I have a feeling you resonate with what Rick's saying. Some of the words that pop for me is divine intervention, and then the component of when the accident happened until Rick started writing. There's an element there that's called divine timing. And if you invite the divinity in, your skin starts to get speaking to you and speaking through you. And I have a feeling Rick and I are connecting with this type of interpretation. And if while you're watching this, folks, if that's something that you find intriguing, reach out to Rick, ask him, add a comment, add a question, and we'll see what unfolds with divine guidance, divine timing, and divine prophecy. And those are some words that could be used in a wonderful way.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Dave, and you couldn't have said it any better. And I really hope people do reach out, because one of the reasons that I wanted to write is because I didn't want to go into that dark place of fear and feeling hopeless. And my goal was that my writing would inspire others to not feel that way. It would inspire others to realize that there is some positivity, there is some hope, and you know, there's plenty of other people that it would resonate with.
You've got a great usage of words that really can make a difference, Rick, and I appreciate and thank you for that. I've got my next question is, if you were to distill your book, because one of the things that as an author, you're probably aware that most people who buy books never finish the whole thing. So let's give them a little help right now. If you were to distill the book down to a key theme or a major takeaway from the book, what would it be?
So the key theme is that uh, each individual can change the world one action at a time, as small as one little action at a time. And typically that starts with just doing unto others, your golden rule, just doing unto others as you want them to do unto you. And there's 10 lessons in my book they're nothing new, honestly. They're just the simple things that we should do in life, like loving each one another, or serving others, or practicing gratitude. I mean, they're just some of the most basic things that we go through life and tend to forget, because we just get wrapped up in doing everything day to day, and we tend to forget these things. But they're so simple, and they're just so beautiful when you do practice them.
I think you're absolutely spot on, Rick. And I guess I'll fine tune it a little bit with you, is that your story is special. Your way of expressing is a miracle. And the fact that you've done it, I really appreciate that. And it might resonate with that one daughter or that one grandfather or that one sister. And that's such a beautiful thing that you've done. And congratulations on getting the book done. As we might have people who are watching us today and they're aspiring authors, they wish they could write. What would be a word of advice or guidance or a support and encouragement that you might share with them?
I'd share a couple things, Dave. I'd share one is to just get started. Just don't worry about how it's going to sound. Don't worry about who's going to read it or what it's going to look like. To just start writing, because it took me 20 years to start, right? And so just start writing. Even if you write 2 sentences the first day or 3 sentences, it doesn't matter. It just matters that you start. And then the second piece of advice would just be to just make it a habit. So for me, I said, I'm going to write every afternoon during the week, and that's my time. And I set it aside and I wrote. Some days I wrote better than others. Some days I wrote more than, or less, but I just said, that's my time to write. And if you make it consistent, before you know it, you'll have a book. You have a book in your hands.
Great advice, Rick. You're spot on. And folks, like, it's not about you editing it. It's not about you trying to make it perfect. It's not about it's supposed to be your final copy. No, get it out and do what Rick's saying is perhaps create more discipline, more habits, allow it to be something that can really uplift you. It's fantastic, Rick. Again, congratulations. I guess I like to ask this question as we peer into the next 6-12 months. If we, even by this conversation today, could get your book into somebody's hands, who in the world would you like to have a copy of this book, read this book, and perhaps help you share this book?
So I would say anyone that has been challenged either by recent times, the pandemic in the past year, or is just facing challenging times where they're starting to feel hopeless. They're starting to feel like they're all alone. They're starting to feel like there's no one there to help them. And in the book, just real quickly, it's an angel that comes down from heaven, and he gets trapped in an elevator with 11 individuals, and he teaches them over the period of the 12 hours that they're stuck. He teaches them different lessons that can help them. And I would say there's all different types of people in the book. So as you were saying, a daughter, a grandfather, whomever it is, that there are characters that can resonate with individuals out there. And hopefully they'll receive a message of hope and inspiration. It'll help to get them out of the place that they're in.
Bravo. I love it. The concept, it sounds like it could be a really beautiful book for people to read on their own, read together, read with a beloved, perhaps shed a tear, a laugh, a giggle, and that sounds fantastic. What are 1 or 2 ways that people can get a hold of your book, and what would you like them to do?
So it is on Amazon. So if you search 12 Hours of Heaven, subtitle is Lessons for a Better World, you'll find it on Amazon. You can also go to I Spark Change, that's just the letter I, sparkchange.com, because since the book, I've created an online community of those that want to help spread inspiration and positive change around the world. so they can learn more about iSpark Change, and they can read more about the book and what we're doing there at isparkchange.com. And that's the same on all social media. So same on Facebook, same on Instagram, Twitter, all iSpark Change.
Beautiful. So iSpark Change. Now I'm going to play a bigger game with you a little bit. Is 3 people that you'd love in your country or in the world that you would love that they take a look at iSpark Change and maybe even look at some ways to collaborate with you. Who is in your magic wand or circle of influence that you'd like to send out that message of sparking change?
Oh, I love that question. I love that question, Dave. The first one is Tristan Harris. So Tristan Harris, he's the creator of that movie, The Social Dilemma, and he formerly worked with the different in Silicon Valley. And my eventual goal is to take iSpark Change and create the world's first social media platform 100% geared towards spreading positive change throughout the world and connecting all the charities and organizations and groups and individuals in one place where they can all collaborate and help one another. So he's definitely number one on the list. Number 2 would be someone like Maria Shriver, for example, who has a large reach and a journalist and who's trying to spread positivity in her own right, and would be inspired at least by my work and would be something that she could share. And then for the third individual, I'm not going to name any one individual. All I'm going to say is it would be anyone who feels that the world is not where it should be right now and just wants it to be a little bit better, just thinks it could be a little bit better and wants to do their part to help make it a better place.
That's brilliant. That's a beautiful way to leave it open, possibility. And I love it when in Asia we talk about yin and yang, the divine feminine and divine masculine. Divine feminine is about nurturing. Divine masculine is about taking action. You and I have both of them. We both have masculine and feminine energy in our body, ourselves. And that's what's beautiful is when you start to really bringing in unity and diversity, global dialogue, an invitation, yet also a patience. And so I'm going to put those contacts in the comment section in the blurb for YouTube. And I'm going to share that video with you. And we'll see if this magic can happen, this miracle can happen. You know, you're living a miracle life. It's been great to connect with you today. I'm really thrilled that you've been able to share this and to be able to spark a change. And with one last word that you might want to share with our listeners today about the book, about iSpark Change, about the possibilities for 2021, please do share.
Yeah, so just whether it's the book or my book or whether it's another book or whether it's someone else that helps inspire them, I would just share with others to let their actions spread some positivity and some love in the world and to just be that example for one another. And it doesn't matter how big or how small the action is, all of them can make a difference. So if everyone just does that, the world would be a beautiful place. I mean, a lot more beautiful than it is now. And it already is amazing, but it can be just so much more. And I'll just leave it with that I know everyone has it inside, they have the power to do so. And it's just a matter of making it happen.
Thank you very much, Rick. You have an absolutely magnificent month ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave. Really appreciate it.